The world is an incredibly vast place with diverse cultures shaping our lives in many different ways. Still, when it comes to education, it is hard to imagine what can be so different about schools that spread out worldwide. However, schools in Japan are truly a special breed with unique rules you won't find anywhere else on Earth. What exactly are they? Here are 13 Japanese school rules you won't believe exist. Enjoy watching. Number 13. The Sasumata. Delving into a unique aspect of safety and self-defense within Japanese schools, we encounter a fascinating rule centered around the use of a traditional tool known as the Sasumata. While schools worldwide are primarily zones of learning, devoid of conflict, Japanese educational institutions are prepared for unforeseen threats with this defensive weapon. The Sasumata, a traditional pole weapon with a history in law enforcement and restraining individuals, features a long shaft with two prongs at one end. Originally designed to immobilize without inflicting harm, its historical form included a spiked section to deter aggression. In contemporary times, while its use by police has dwindled, the Sasumata maintains a presence in schools, albeit in a modified form without spikes, serving as a non-lethal means of ensuring student safety. This adaptation underscores a commitment to preserving security while minimizing harm. Notably, the effectiveness of the Sasumata was demonstrated in incidents across Japan, including a situation in Aichi, where a man armed with a knife was successfully subdued, and a similar occurrence in Tokyo. These instances highlight the practicality and importance of the Sasumata in managing security threats within educational settings, making its presence a logical, albeit unconventional, aspect of school safety protocols. Number 12. No tights allowed. In the diverse world of school dress codes, one particular rule within Japanese schools stands out, especially concerning female students and their attire during the colder months. Despite the practical reasons for wearing tights, such as protection against the cold, many Japanese schools enforce a strict dress code that prohibits girls from wearing tights. Instead, they are required to wear knee-length socks with their skirts, regardless of the weather conditions. The rationale behind this rule is often aimed at maintaining uniformity and preventing the distraction that might come from overly patterned or attention-grabbing tights. However, this regulation has not been met without resistance. Many girls find this aspect of the dress code challenging, especially during the freezing winter months when additional warmth is not just a comfort but a necessity. There have been instances where students have voiced their concerns, seeking a change or at least an exception during colder weather. One such case involved a schoolgirl who directly addressed the school authorities, arguing that the rule was unfair. Unfortunately, her plea was met with sympathy for her feelings, but ultimately led to a reminder of her impending graduation and an encouragement to abide by the rules for a little while longer. Number 11. Curfew for students. Let's dive into something fascinating, and you might find it hard to grasp, but bear with me because it's genuine. The life of a Japanese student is meticulously guided not just within the confines of school walls, but extends far beyond into their daily lives. Intriguingly, there's a nationwide approach that effectively curtails students' freedom to wander around post 1 p.m. Indeed, the Japanese government takes an active role in shaping the after-school life of its youth. This initiative sees a partnership with businesses across the board, ensuring adherence to these guidelines. As a result, it's a common scenario for a student in Japan to be turned away from a cinema or any popular hangout spot if they attempt entry after 10 p.m. This unique intertwining of government and societal expectations paints a vivid picture of the disciplined and structured lifestyle led by students in Japan. Number 10. White undergarments is a must for girls. It may sound unbelievable, but did you know about the unique dress code requirement in Japan regarding white undergarments? A recent analysis of 238 schools revealed some unexpected findings. 138 schools had a surprisingly specific rule concerning students' undergarments. Far from academic-related regulations, this rule mandated that students could only wear white undergarments. The enforcement of this rule was taken to extraordinary lengths, with teachers going as far as to check the color of students' undergarments by pulling at bra straps, and even observing students change in dressing rooms to ensure compliance. The rationale behind linking underwear color to educational discipline remains puzzling, yet adherence was strictly monitored. Students found in violation of this rule faced the prospect of changing their undergarments to abide by the school's policy. This regulation was met with significant discontent among students who viewed it as an unnecessary intrusion. After a sustained effort to challenge this rule, students finally succeeded in overturning it a few years ago. The elimination of this rule was undoubtedly a relief, a sentiment akin to bidding farewell to an unwelcome nuisance. What are your thoughts on such specific dress code policies in schools? Number 9. Uniforms are compulsory. In many schools across the Western world, students revel in the freedom to wear casual clothes, reflecting their personal style. However, the narrative shifts significantly when we turn our gaze towards Japan, where school uniforms are not just a tradition, but a deeply ingrained aspect of the educational ethos. The Japanese educational system advocates for equality among students, and uniforms play a pivotal role in achieving this. By donning uniforms, students visually embody the principle that everyone stands on equal ground, irrespective of their socioeconomic backgrounds. The rationale behind this uniformity extends beyond mere appearance. It's about instilling values such as humility and discipline, traits highly regarded in Japanese culture. Furthermore, school uniforms serve as a symbol of unity, reinforcing the notion that all students, regardless of their origins, are part of a single, cohesive community. Typically designed in simple, understated colors like navy blue and white, these uniforms are also practical, lightweight, and easy to maintain, ensuring that students can manage their attire independently. For international students contemplating an educational journey in Japan, embracing the uniform policy is a crucial part of the experience. It represents a commitment to the collective ethos of Japanese schools and a willingness to adapt to a system that prioritizes communal harmony over individual expression. Number 8. No dating. In Japan, high school is a period marked by a rigorous academic focus, and interestingly, this extends to students' personal lives, particularly regarding romantic relationships. The stance against high school romance is not about denying the natural feelings that may arise among students, but rather addressing the potential consequences of acting on these emotions. Authorities advocate for students to dedicate their attention to studies, arguing that romantic entanglements can be a distraction and, in some instances, have negative ramifications. One of the concerns raised is the impact of high school relationships on female students. Research and surveys suggest that such relationships can become controlling, limiting young women's freedom to socialize and engage in healthy activities outside of the relationship. Disturbingly, there have been instances where high school dating has escalated into coercion and violence, with about 30% of female students reporting restrictions imposed by boyfriends that would be deemed unacceptable in mature relationships. The Japanese educational system takes these issues seriously, to the extent that students have faced expulsion for involvement in romantic relationships, underscoring the severity with which this matter is treated. Number 7. Cleaner students. Japan stands out as one of the cleanest countries globally, a distinction deeply rooted in its cultural teachings from a young age. In Japanese schools, from the moment children begin their educational journey in the first grade right through to high school, they are entrusted with the responsibility of cleaning their own classrooms. This practice deviates significantly from the Western approach of employing janitors to maintain school cleanliness. In Japan, the concept of hired school cleaners is virtually non-existent because the students themselves undertake this role. This might seem like an added burden on the students, but it's a practice seamlessly integrated into their daily routine without impeding their academic pursuits. Typically, cleaning activities are scheduled for about 15 minutes at the end of the school day. For younger students, these chores might even take place during recess, transforming cleaning duties into a form of playtime and ensuring they still enjoy a break. This system instills in students a sense of responsibility, teamwork, and respect for their environment from an early age. Number 6. Two-block cut. In the realm of Japanese school regulations, the authorities are known for their meticulous approach to student appearance, including strict dress codes. An intriguing rule that particularly impacts the male student population relates to hairstyles, specifically the two-block haircut. This style, characterized by shorter sides and a longer top, has gained popularity for its clean and modern look. Despite its neat appearance and the fresh vibe it brings, Japanese schools have placed a ban on the two-block haircut, classifying it as unacceptable. The reasons behind this prohibition might raise eyebrows. School officials argue that the hairstyle poses safety risks and could potentially lead to accidents, a claim that leaves many puzzled. Further, the ban is said to promote unity and respect for the school's hierarchy, ensuring that attention remains focused on academic and moral education rather than fashion trends. This rule underscores the school's commitment to maintaining a disciplined environment where educational and ethical values are prioritized over individual style expressions. Number 5. Swimming is a must. In Japanese schools, swimming isn't just an extracurricular activity. It's an essential part of the curriculum, making the ability to swim not just a skill but a requirement. From an early age, students are introduced to swimming, ensuring that by the time they reach higher grades, they are proficient swimmers. This policy is so ingrained in the educational system that you'll find swimming pools in many high schools across Japan, underscoring the importance placed on this life skill. The rationale behind making swimming mandatory is multifaceted. Beyond just teaching a physical skill, it's about ensuring safety, promoting physical health, and even addressing societal issues like the fear of water. The impact of this rule is significant, as it contributes to a reduction in the number of individuals who are fearful of water, showcasing a proactive approach to public safety and well-being. Swimming is acclaimed for its health benefits, including stress reduction, improved cardiovascular health, and overall physical fitness enhancement. Recognizing these advantages, the Japanese educational system champions swimming not just as a sport, but as a vital component of students' development. Number 4. Punctuality is not negotiated. Punctuality is a principle deeply ingrained in Japanese culture, transcending beyond mere personal discipline to become a societal expectation. Whether it's for a business meeting or a casual rendezvous with friends, being on time is paramount. This cultural norm is so stringent that public apologies are issued by train officials for delays as minor as a few minutes, highlighting the high value placed on punctuality. This emphasis on timeliness extends into the educational sphere, where it's instilled in students from a tender age. In Japanese schools, the concept of punctuality is not just encouraged, but enforced with a level of seriousness that leaves little room for deviation. Students quickly learn that arriving on time is not merely a suggestion, but a requirement for participation in the day's activities. School gates open for a set period each morning, beyond which they are closed, symbolizing the window of opportunity for students to mark their presence for the day. If a student arrives late, after the gates have been closed, they face the consequence of missing an entire day of school. This rule serves as a practical lesson in responsibility and time management, preparing students for a society that values and respects punctuality. Number 3, taking off your shoes. Picture this. You're all dressed up for school, ready to dive into the day's lessons, but there's an important cultural practice you must observe upon arrival. If you're attending school in Japan, this practice is deeply rooted in traditional Japanese culture, emphasizing cleanliness and respect for the environment. In Japan, there's a clear distinction between indoor and outdoor footwear, reflecting a broader cultural value of maintaining cleanliness and separation between the public and private spheres. Upon entering any home or building, including schools, it's customary to remove the shoes you wore outdoors. This ritual is not just about physical cleanliness, but also symbolizes leaving the outside world behind and respecting the sanctity of the indoor space. Students, therefore, are required to switch from their outdoor shoes to a designated pair of indoor shoes, commonly known as uwabaki. These are comfortable slip-on shoes that are worn exclusively indoors, ensuring that the interior floors remain clean and unsoiled by outdoor elements. Uwabaki, or similar indoor footwear, becomes the daily companion of students, accompanying them through their indoor activities and classes. This practice highlights the cultural emphasis on respect, cleanliness, and order, extending from homes into educational institutions. Number 2, no food from home. In Japan, the approach to school lunches diverges significantly from what many around the world might expect, embodying a blend of strict regulation, educational philosophy, and a commitment to nutrition. Here, the concept of students bringing lunch from home is eschewed in favor of a system where the school assumes full responsibility for what students eat during the day. This policy underscores the belief that nutrition is a critical aspect of a child's education and well-being. warranting oversight by the school authorities rather than being left to individual preferences. This rule means that parents do not pack lunches for their children. Instead, the school provides all meals. Far from being a cause for concern, this system is designed with the students' best interests at heart. Schools employ professional nutritionists to craft meal plans and menus that are not only balanced, but also educational. These meals are referred to as shokuku, a term that emphasizes food and nutrition education, signifying a mealtime that is as much about learning as it is about eating. Japanese school lunches are characterized by their fresh, organic preparation, avoiding processed or preserved foods. This approach ensures that students receive meals that contribute positively to their health and educational experience. Number 1. Schooling on Saturdays. In a global context where most students look forward to a 2-day weekend, the situation for Japanese students used to be quite different and perhaps a bit startling. Traditionally, the Japanese educational system operated on a 6-day week, with Saturdays being a regular school day. This rigorous schedule underscored Japan's emphasis on education and hard work, but left little room for the leisure and rest enjoyed by students in other parts of the world. However, change was on the horizon. In a move towards more balance and perhaps aligning more closely with global norms, the Japanese education authorities began to modify this approach. The transition started with schools opening only on the second and fourth Saturdays of each month, reducing the number of days students were required to attend school. This adjustment served as an intermediary step toward a more significant change. Eventually, the idea of school on Saturdays was completely phased out, allowing Japanese students to enjoy a full weekend off, just like their peers around the world. This shift not only represented a change in educational policy, but also a recognition of the importance of rest, relaxation, and personal time for students. It's a development that undoubtedly has been warmly welcomed by students, offering them more opportunities to recharge, pursue hobbies, and spend time with family and friends.